Trust me guys, you don't want to know how many takes we're on for this right now. But in either case, welcome to the Mount Juliet Library. My name is Carl Laterza. This is going to be the third in a series of book talks that we've been doing. The first two book talks, if you saw them, they were geared for books that are for the younger students and things like that. And maybe as I was talking about, for example, Breaking Stalin's Nose, you thought, wow, that sounded like a really good book. But it's for kids. Pick it up and read it. They're very, very good books. Just because you won't read a book that's geared towards a juvenile person, it's like saying, well, I'm going to go into Disney World, but the rides are for kids. I'm not going to ride them. So please, any of the books that we're talking about over here, if they sound good, grab them, read them. Now, in over 50 years of teaching, one of the things that I've noticed is this. There is your traditional style of teaching, a guy like myself standing up in front of a classroom, teaching and using your textbooks to do your homework. But the other thing that we're going to talk about today is a supplement. Reading good historical fiction or good science fiction. So long as they are correct and factually accurate in what they say, not only does it make you enjoy history that much more, but you're going to remember that much more about it. We're going to start with one of my all-time favorite authors. His name is Conqueror. Yeah, I know, that name just rolls right off your tongue. You know about Stuart Woods and James Patterson and Clive Cussler. This guy is better than all of them, at least in my less than humble opinion. The thing that he does so well is he talks about history and covers a wide range of history, but most importantly, he does it in a manner that is historically accurate. Now, the first series that he writes about is going to be about Rome. A lot of people aren't aware of the fact that the history of Rome is broken up into two stages, the Roman Republic and the Roman Empire. During the Roman Republic, they developed the indirect democracy that we have right here in the United States today. The roots of a representative government are found in the Roman Republic. He does 5 books about this, and in those 5 books, he captures the flavor of what it's like for people living during the Roman Republic. And it's not just the higher echelon, the councils and the legislatures and like that, but he brings it all the way down to the level of the everyday folk and even the slaves as well. You get the real feeling, you see the political relationships, the alliances, the friendships that are developed. The most important friendship in this whole 5-book series is going to be between Julius Caesar and Brutus Marcus. Marcus, of course, is going to be the person who's going to be responsible for executing Caesar. But nonetheless, you get a really good feel for this. By the time you're done with this 5-series set, you're going to say, wow, that's the Roman Republic. Let's go on to the Roman Empire. Con, are you listening to that? You did the Roman Republic, now we need the Roman Empire. Con! Now, when I first started reading this book, I picked it up because I'm interested in the Roman Republic. But now what I did is I started reading books by Abbots just because he's such a great writer. His next series is going to be the Conqueror series. He's going to be talking about the conquest of the Mongol Empire all throughout Asia and spilling into the Middle East. Now, was I interested in Genghis Khan? Not at all. But when I picked up the book and I read the series, not only did I get so much more interested in it, but I really enjoyed it. That's what a good author does. He forces you to expand your interest. He starts the whole thing with an 11-year-old boy left out to die in the desert. This 11-year-old boy not only survives, but he thrives, and he goes on to become Genghis Khan, the ruler of one of the largest empires in the history of the whole entire world. And for the next 5 series of books, he's going to be talking about how they build empires. And again, just like he did with the Emperor series, you see the intricate set of relationships that are really going to shape the history of the whole entire world. Then he ends up with his grandson, Kublai Khan. Absolutely amazing. If you like the Game of Thrones, you're going to love the series that he does about the War of the Roses, okay? It talks about the history of the battles between 2 dynasties, the Yorks and the Lancasters, as they're fighting to maintain control of one of the largest empires all throughout the history of the world, the English Empire. And just like he does with the others, he's telling you a story. You're going page by page. You don't realize it, but you're absorbing knowledge, you're absorbing facts, you're absorbing ideas. Absolutely incredible. Now, let's talk about the history of the church during the during the Middle Ages. Yeah, that sounds like a real yawn fest. But he takes a book that he calls the Abbots Tale, or it's also called Dunstan. For whatever reason, many of his books have got two different titles, but nonetheless, they are so great. He starts the book with a lie. I was carried down to planet Earth on angels' wings. And this lie, told by a member of the clergy, is going to impact the history of England for a substantial period of time. That's what he's going to do. Now he's not only talking about the various governments, but the role that the church plays in shaping what these governments themselves are like. Just as a quick aside, another great book is going to be Jester. Now, this is by James Patterson with Andrew Gross. He does the same thing. It's set in the Middle Ages, but he talks about what it's like for this one guy who goes out, fights for his country, fights for his God in the Crusades. Then when he comes back, he finds that everything's been taken away from him, his wife, his child, and now he's going to spend the rest of his life trying to find them again. Now, let me just give you a warning about this. It's so well written, but it is graphic, okay? Definitely not a book for your kids, but nonetheless, it is great. Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! It's Christmas in July. And the reason why I mention it's Christmas in July is, as I was doing this series about Conqueror, I came across a book that I hadn't read of his, The Falcon of Sparta. Just like the Roman history is divided up into the Republic and the Empire, when you're talking about Greek history, you have to divide it up into what happens with Sparta and later what happens with Athens. I read about 150 pages of this book in one sitting. It's that quick. Then the book about Athens is going to be coming out in January of 2020. Oh, happy, happy, joy, joy. I am so happy. Bottom line is, guys, remember the name, Conqueror. Con! And you'll never regret it, guys. Stay tuned for another series coming up soon. Bye now.